Welcome to another exciting edition of the Plumbing 101 show. My name is Willem, I'm your host, and this is our first episode in which we discuss skills development in South Africa. And we are visiting BluLever Education's campus right here in Braamfontein, Johannesburg, to talk about their contribution to skills development in South Africa, but also to find out what makes them such an innovative company in and around the educational world. Let's go find out.
Hello and welcome to Plumbing 101 News. South Africa is facing a water crisis of urgent proportions owing to the disastrous effect of climate change as well as the national government's mismanagement. The government's slow response has left thousands of South Africans fighting for basic human rights. The Department of Water and Sanitation is obliged to supervise and manage water and sanitation establishments and services under the National Water Act of 1998. To address the problem of water security, the Department of Water and Sanitation, led by Senzo Mkhunu, provided and implemented programs that address the issue. One of these initiatives is the National Water Partnerships Program. This initiative is based on the private-public partnership model used in Eskom's power supply stabilization efforts. Meanwhile, Jagersfontein, a little town in South Africa with a rich mining history, was greeted with a catastrophic failure of responsibility on September 11th. The town was devastated when the walls built to contain the tailings dam was breached by a flood of murky water. These dams are considered living structures that are gradually developed or built to supply tailings capacity. Available capacity must be properly balanced with wall building efforts. Now, following the Jagersfontein disaster, there has been substantial discussions over the operation's many changes of ownership. Ultimately, to avoid failures, the dam's expansion must be monitored. In other news, the Southern African Plastic Pipe Manufacturers Association, also known as SAPMA, has provided vital feedback to the pipe industry, particularly when quality and safety are of primary concern. In a recent media statement, SAPMA argues that the use of virgin material is non-negotiable. Without the use of reliable pipes and pipelines, no country or its people can function without the transportation of fluids. And because polymers account for more than 75% of the overall cost of completed pipes, it's tempting for uninformed tradespeople to cut costs and enhance profits by incorporating subpar polymers or recycled components into the mix. SAPMA and its members continue to defy the natural tendency to take the route of least effort by adhering to the standards and guidelines outlined in their Code of Conduct and Memorandum of Incorporation. That's it for now. Let's take it back to Willem at BluLever.
Welcome back. You are still tuned into this exciting episode of the Plumbing 101 show, where we are visiting at the BluLever campus, BluLever Education campus in Braamfontein, Johannesburg. And just before we went to the news, Naomi, by the way, thank you for giving us the latest news of the plumbing industry. I did mention that we are talking to BluLever today to speak about your involvement in skills development in South Africa, sort of transforming the way in which people are being taught and trained and educated for their specific careers. Stacey Renteres is my first guest for this episode. She is the Director of Learning at BluLever Education. Stacey, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
No, thank you so much for being with us today and being on campus. We're very excited.
Yeah, for sure. We like it. We like to get out of our studio.
I'm sure.
It's an exciting environment to be in. Stacey, I want to kick right off by asking you, what is it that makes BluLever Education stand out above the rest? What makes you different?
Well, I think it's, not to make it sound cliched, I think it's the soft skills, because I think we've seen that in the industry, there's a lot of focus on the technical training and the technical knowledge and everything that comes with it, which is of course very important. But for us, it's more than just making sure that our apprentices are trained technically. It's really making sure that they have all the other skills that they need in order to be successful when they're on site, in order to contribute to companies, in order to contribute to the industry at large, even on a grander scale, just generally to the economy. So for us, it's really about making sure that we're producing artisans who have all the technical knowledge and skills, but who have all the other essential and soft skills, as we call them, to go with that as well. And I think that's the thing that makes us very different from a lot of other training institutions, is that we put a lot of focus and a lot of emphasis on those skills. And with that, we make sure that our apprentices have a lot of support as well. So we really want to make sure that the experience the students have when they're with us on campus and as part of our apprenticeship program focuses on developing them as individuals and as people, in addition to giving them all the knowledge and skills they need.
And the technical knowledge.
The technical knowledge and skills they need,
and the soft skills for that matter. But let's talk about what makes BluLever Education program so unique is also your unique program, your unique structure, the way that it is structured, the program is structured. It kicks off by a selection process, and then it flows into what you refer to as a leadership camp.
Yes.
I'm very interested and keen to hear about that.
So the start of, before anybody even joins our apprenticeship program, when they're going through the selection process and when they're applying to be an apprentice with us, one of the things that they go through is what's called a leadership-based camp. And for us, the purpose of the camp is kind of twofold. On the one hand of it, it's to lay a lot of the foundations that the students will need when they become an apprentice. But the other kind of side of it is also to give them a bit of a taste of what something in the industry might be like, what a career, in the industry might be like. So the leadership-based camp basically consists of a 7-week program, and it's made up of the first month is actually at a camp. So they go and they stay at a camp, they're away from home, it's fully residential, and it's really tough. It starts at 5 o'clock in the morning with exercise, and it ends at 9 o'clock at night. And the schedule is jam-packed. So it starts, there's a lot of skills development that happens there, but it also starts laying a lot of good habits for them to have. So things like discipline, things like long working hours. We are quite tough on them in terms of things like punctuality and all the kind of things that we know, the habits that they need to have that we know will make them successful in the industry. So the first month is fully residential, and it ends with a 3-day hike as well. So they go and they live in tents and they hike for 3 days, which is a very reflective experience for them, just to kind of see how far they've come. And then the next 2 weeks happen on campus. So skills development carries on, but obviously now we're not in this beautiful setting in nature, we're now on campus. So it gives them a bit more of a taste of what attending classes on campus will be like, gives them a bit of a taste of what it would be like to actually be a BluLever apprentice as well. So that happens on campus. And then the final week of the camp is what's called workplace exposure. So during this week, they go and work for a week on site, and they actually get a chance to see what it's like to be in the industry and to kind of get first-hand of experience of what a career in the industry will be like. So that's kind of the leadership-based camp in quite a simple format. And it is part of our selection process. So we select 40 students from the thousands of applications we receive. We whittle it down to 40 students who attend the camp, and from the 40 we select 30. And those are the 30 students who join our apprenticeship program.
Let's have a look. I've got a twofold question for you.
Sure.
But let's have a look quickly at the selection process and the criteria that is used, because certainly we call them we can refer to them as career students. People who, because there's a stipend involved when it comes to apprenticeships and going through a program like a BluLever's program. How do you ensure that you don't select somebody who is a career student and who would just abuse that stipend benefit?
It's really tricky because we know that our unemployment rates are really high, especially for youth. And so a lot of youth are looking for opportunities. They're looking for something to do just so they're not sitting at home. We know that there's a lot of pressure on them to support families, bringing in income. So there is very much the drive, I think, in general, just to find an opportunity and to find some way of bringing in an income. So for us, what we really look at is when we have what's called our finalists day, which is the recruitment stage that happens just before the camp, what we're looking for really is some knowledge of the industry. We're really looking for a passion for the industry. We're looking for some knowledge in the industry. So for example, one of the things that candidates have to do when they're applying to us is they have to do something called an I Got This assignment, which involves a research element of the industry and of companies, and they actually have to do a piece of work that they have to submit to us. So, having something like that in our recruitment process gives us an indication of how passionate somebody is, how much they know about the industry and kind of the expectation around that, and how much they really want this. Because I don't know if you're going to really put in the time and effort to do a piece of work if you're not really that passionate about it. So we have a couple of little things like that built into our recruitment process that just allow us to get a sense of, how passionate a person is. And that's largely what we're looking for when we're recruiting.
Stacey, so in addition to, they go through this whole program, the leadership camp, I find it very interesting. And in addition to the technical skills that they learn, the technical knowledge that they gain from your programs, you teach them the soft skills that typically involves things like like your interpersonal skills, your business knowledge, those kind of things, to sort of round them off and give them a more holistic approach to entering the workforce. Do you feel that adds value, and do you feel that makes them more valuable around the economy, the plumbing industry as a whole, and to society at large?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, we have a whole module that's based on communication at BluLever that the apprentices have to go through. And this module really focuses on, good communication, conflict management and resolution. It focuses on, lots of different elements around communication. And I think what the feedback we've received from employers is that, when they have apprentices come from BluLever, they can see that they have, for example, a lot of those communication skills. It's not I don't know if I would say it's a foolproof method. You're going to get this perfect apprentice, but I think for us it's a learning process, and it's a continual process. So we're laying a lot of the foundations when they're on campus with us in the first block. When they come back, we keep building on those foundations, and we start bringing in a lot of more advanced skills then to help them really sort of move up a level when they're working with a company, and maybe one day even when they're running their own business, they'll be able to use a lot of those skills. So the feedback we've received from employer partners and from industry is that they can see those skills in our apprentices, and they're really beneficial.
Makes me excited to hear all of this, because it's really, it's nice to hear that there are organizations who truly invest in their learners, in their students, to add that additional value.
Yeah.
Stacey, I want to thank you a lot for coming in and joining us for this conversation. I wish you all the best at BluLever. I do believe that we are going to have more conversations with you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely.
It's been awesome.
We're excited.
Yeah.
Now, to our listeners and our viewers, or to our viewers out there, don't go away. We are going into a quick ad break. Do stay tuned, because we'll be right back after this.
Good day. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm here to log in my COCs, but I seem to be having an issue with my computer.
No problem. But did you know that you can log your COCs using an app on your cell phone?
Oh, what app is that?
It's called the app Plumber. Do you have a smartphone with you?
Yes, I do.
Oh well, let me show you how it works.
Not only can you access your PRB profile on the app Plumber, but you can also earn CPD points while exploring the plumbing industry in the palm of your hand. Download the app from Google Play Store and join thousands of other happy users.
Welcome back. You are still tuned into another exciting episode of the Plumbing 101 show. And of course, we still are at the premises and the campus of BluLever Education, talking about skills development in South Africa and BluLever's contribution towards skills development in South Africa with their exciting and interesting programs. Now, my next guest, very interestingly enough, is a plumber himself, Mr. Moses Mokhatle.
Correct.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me. You, Moses, are a plumber yourself, and you also own your own plumbing company. I think it's GM Plumbing, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And I'd love to chat to you about the value of the skills and the developing of skills and the learning and the educating of the next generation of plumbers and how that affects the plumbing industry, how it affects a plumbing company such as yourself, and you know, just the value that it adds to the industry as a whole, to the economy and to society as a whole.
I will say it is very important because BluLever is actually developing apprentices, and those apprentices are going through lots of different skills, soft skills, and from there they will then go to companies, and then they can be trained with skills of which at a later stage there will be qualified plumbers, and all the plumbing companies would really like to have qualified plumbers. And I think with this program, they will be suitable going to those companies.
It's not only about eventually appointing and employing a plumber that has gone through the program, but also them getting involved in perhaps even sponsoring and taking on an apprentice. You know, these companies can do that.
Correct, very true. I think, you know, with the skills gap that we all know that there is a scarcity of plumbers in the country, we need them to go through apprenticeship program so that they are ready when there is a need for them, you know, to take part in this economy.
You yourself have been through an apprenticeship program, or an apprenticeship yourself.
Correct. I've gone through my apprenticeship program, and I will say it was I was very fortunate, and I still thank the company that took me at that particular time, because, you know, a few students at that time were taken, and then I think at this time we, as employers, we need to take more students because, you know, the landscape have broadened. We've got a lot of development taking place in the country, and we need more plumbers.
All right, so let's look at the next generation. We're talking about people going through an apprenticeship program, through the learning process, and being, you know, out in the field and getting the practical experience while they're doing their apprenticeship at an employer. Why is it so important for everyone that possibly can to invest in properly training the next generation of plumbers?
I think a plumbing industry, as any other you know, career, is evolving, and then there is new. How can I use? Which word can I use?
New methods, new tools,
new tools, new equipments that are used lately, and we need to see our youth going through that kind of learning, getting used to the new tools that are there in the market, and, you know, so that they can be competitive in the near future.
How do plumbing companies benefit, and how would your plumbing company benefit? Because one of the interesting factors of the BluLever programs that they put their apprentices through and their learners through is that they also teach them soft skills. And that's something that is not necessarily taught at any other college or campus or something like that. How would your company benefit from somebody who's been taught soft skills in addition to the technical skills?
Very true. I think if you look at nowadays, you need company that is very flexible, meaning that those companies, they must be able to communicate with the consumers, and they also give a quality services. So if you combine those two, then you obviously one of the good service provider. So I always encourage that any company to invest on the training, because they do get, you do have a learner who's gone through soft skills, and they are capable of understanding plumbing as a whole, having the overview, knowledge of the plumbing industry, and at any certain point when the customer is looking for answers, then they are there to give the proper answer. So it is important to incorporate the knowledge part of things and the technical part of things. So this program, it's actually the best.
Moses, I want to thank you for having joined me in studio today and the valuable information that you've shared. It's certainly awesome to know that there are plumbers out there who take their industry serious and who see themselves as professionals and who see their trade as a profession, a professional trade, and who take pride in that and who wants to see that things are done correctly. So thanks, Stack, for having joined me. Thanks for your time and your effort.
Thank you, Willem. Thank you very much.
To our listeners and our viewers, don't go away yet. Please do stay tuned. We have some more up coming right after the ad breaks.
The PIRB Master Plumber Recognition Program has officially arrived. As an essential service to society, there must be constant growth and development within this important and ever-changing industry. Developed by the PIRB, the Master Plumber Recognition Program has launched as a new PIRB designation, allowing industry champions to take the lead. Skilled and experienced plumbers equipped to take the lead, enroll today to start your journey in becoming a recognized PIRB Master Plumber.
Welcome back to this exciting episode of the Plumbing 101 show, where we are visiting the premises and the campus of BluLever Education. We're talking about BluLever's involvement in skills development and developing the next generation of plumbers to contribute to not only the plumbing industry as a whole, but also to the economy and to society because of the value that their students and their learners add when they walk out after the 3-year program that BluLever offers. So with me in studio now, I have one of the learners, one of the students here at BluLever campus, Johannes Mpulu. Johannes, welcome, and thanks, Stack, for joining me in studio.
Thank you.
All right, so I am very interested now, and one of the first things that I ask people especially the learners and the students, is why plumbing?
Yes, I choose plumbing because I've always wanted to invent something. And with plumbing, people always look at it in a very bad perspective. You can say, you're going to work with sewer. Provided that it's not only sewer, you are also going to work with water purification. People have to drink clean water. Yes.
So why specifically BluLever? Why, instead of any other training facility that you could have gone to for that matter, why did you choose BluLever and to come and do your apprenticeship and your learnership through?
I choose BluLever because BluLever, it gives us soft skills, which are the skills required in a lifetime, not only at the campus, also it gives us readiness work to go to the workplace and things like to solve for conflict, to have a different perspective view, have a positive taking, and be able to or enable yourself to be the bigger person. So BluLever gives us the soft skills. It gives us, it shapes and gives us the drive in a pathway.
So I want to ask you quickly, how is it that BluLever and then with the training and the specific process that you go through in BluLever Education, how does that help you to sort of become like a trailblazer, like a leader in your industry by the time that you walk out after the 3-year program and into the workforce? How does it help you?
Yeah, BluLever, with regard to ourselves individually, BluLever has this thing of dev one-on-ones, academical check-ins, where you will be able to reflect and be given a chance to have a feedback from your team and also from the facilitators. So they give us this huge or vast opportunity to reflect as beings and learn from it and grow.
Johannes, I want to thank you for having joined me today in the studio and for this awesome discussion that we're having with BluLever. And I wish you all the best for the remainder of your program that you have to go through. I'm sure that you're going to be one of those value additions to the industry, to the economy, and to society itself. To our viewers out there, don't go away yet. We have drawn to a close of this episode, but there is still some more industry-related news for you right after this.
Welcome back to the news. This year's Champions for Charity raised a total of 71,767, which will be going to the various charitable organizations represented by the boxers. The boxers will be handing over the money raised for their respective charitable organizations. And preparations for the 2023 Champions for Charity event are already underway. And if you would like to be involved, please email c4c@pirb.co.za. In roadshow news, the PIRB was in the Northwest Province on Monday and Tuesday. We stopped at Klerksdorp on the 26th of September and Rustenburg on the 27th. A big shout out to Buco for hosting us at these stops, and thank you to everyone that came to engage us. We loved meeting you. Next month, we are heading to the Western Cape. And remember, subscribe to our monthly newsletter to stay in the loop. And plumbers, we have heard you. We are excited to announce that we are improving the non-compliant notice list to make it easy for you. The PIRB will implement an update on the non-compliance listings to make it simple for plumbers and homeowners to understand the plumbing standards. So forget the plumbing jargon and be in the know about the plumbing systems and the new improvements. So be on the lookout for the new non-compliance list coming soon. And don't forget, if you are a skilled and experienced plumber equipped to take the lead, enroll today and start your journey to become a master plumber. And lastly, just before we go, to get your CPD points for the Plumbing 101 show, please go down on the description box to access the quiz. All the best.